The story begins inside a mental institution, where a doctor tells Billy Kincaid that, after 6 years, he is finally considered cured and will be set free. Kincaid had been convicted of mutilating and killing an 8-year-old girl, but inside prison, he acted like the nicest guy, fooling psychiatrists into believing he was a changed man. Standing right behind him, the 2 detectives who arrested him, Burke and Twitch, couldn't believe this monster was being released so soon. Though the doctors thought he was cured, Kincaid couldn't help but joyfully recall all of his past victims. He used to drive an ice cream truck that attracted many children, whom he would kidnap, mutilate, and eventually kill. Nothing brought him more joy than killing little children. He even invented a twisted rhyme he loved to sing. "You scream, I scream, we all scream for ice cream." Originally sentenced to 22 years, Kincaid's lawyer later found a technicality that reduced his sentence. Coupled with good behavior, Kincaid served only 6 years. Later in the office, the 2 detectives were fuming. Twitch, who has 7 children, was especially outraged, unable to understand how they could release a monster like Kincaid. 2 days later, Kincaid killed an ice cream truck driver and stole his truck. He quickly returned to his old ways, kidnapping another girl, whom he later murdered in his new home. He cut off all her fingers and glued them to the wall, calling it finger painting. Now he was eager for his next victim, this time wanting to kidnap a boy. Back on the streets of New York City, Spawn overhears his homeless friends talking about Billy Kincaid, and he remembers the name. Long ago, when he was still human, Senator Jennings had hired Spawn, offering him $1 million to kill Kincaid. One of Kincaid's victims had been the senator's daughter, but before Spawn could reach him, the police had arrested Kincaid first. Senator Jennings had many enemies, and much evidence related to the case had been destroyed, including an old shack where Kincaid had killed over 20 children. Because of this, they could only convict him of killing the senator's daughter. Spawn remembers everything and decides to take matters into his own hands. Going on a hunt, the 2 detectives were also taking action, staking out Kincaid's house the night Spawn found him. Kincaid was disappointed as night fell. Children don't walk the streets at night, so he had no one to satisfy his sick urges. Spawn watched him through the window, but Kincaid sensed he wasn't alone and grabbed his knife. Spawn broke the window and grabbed him, making enough noise that the 2 detectives came running. But before they could reach him, Spawn took Kincaid away. The detectives broke down the door, finding no one inside but discovering evidence of another murder and the girl's fingers glued to the wall. They began collecting evidence, determined to handle everything by the book to ensure Kincaid wouldn't escape justice again. Burke and Twitch returned to their office only to find a shocking sight. Spawn had killed Billy Kincaid, hanging him from the ceiling with an ice cream stick in his mouth and a note that read,
"Boys screamed and girls screamed, so I made him scream and scream and scream."